I wanted to do something that was a bit different, but yet hark back to my roots. You gotta take chances. If you don't, you end up making the same old thing again and again and again. I think audiences are starved for something that's new and different.
Garbage in, garbage out. Hello, all you gigalos. Welcome to Garbage In, Garbage Out. I'm your host, Kelton. I am sick this week. My voice has just been strangled by an unknown supernatural being, but it's okay because I'm joined, as always, by my amazing co-host, Grift. How's it going, buddy?
I'm doing fine. I just want to salute you for showing up and podcasting, even though you have a sentient tumor in your throat. So
thank you.
You know, that is commitment to the game right there. Like this is what podcasters like have to do, you know.
This really is my Jordan with the flu game. And if I say anything offensive, it wasn't me, it was Gabriel that did it. Okay. And joining us this week, it's Tom and Michelle from the Apocalypse in Review podcast. How is it going, y'all?
Hey everybody, it's going well-ish.
It's good.
Yeah. That's a pretty good way, and good with hesitation. That's a pretty good review of the movie as well, I think.
Boy.
It can work out pretty well. Oh, man. So this week, we're going to be talking about Malignant. It's the new horror movie from James Wan. It's what he decided to make in between the Aquaman films, where a woman is paralyzed by shocking visions of grisly murders, and her torment worsens when she discovers that, dun, 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 these waking dreams are, in fact, terrifying realities. Hell yeah. That's right. This movie, it's certainly a movie, but more importantly, what did we think about it? Michelle, Tom?
I honestly still don't know what I think about it, but I was trying to explain it to my friend today, and I sounded like a lunatic trying to explain it.
Yeah, no, that's facts. Like, it's hard to, because the movie doesn't explain itself. Barely
Tom
at
was
all.
Very confused. He kept asking me,
I take a strong offense to that, sir. There's like 3 plot recaps that happen when the sister and the detective are in the car.
Okay,
they're
the parts that they cared about, they hit hard as shit.
Yeah, but that's exactly right.
As far as I don't know how this thing works, like how everything
works.
works.
Very hung up on that. I was
no. Those are plot holes because it's a bad movie. That's not them not explaining it. It's just because it's a bad film. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'm gonna play like both sides here. I told it both over explains and under explains at the same time.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Totally agree.
I see both sides of the review coin with this one. Okay. All right. Important little centrist take. I think we have to respect both the cheesy nature and the fact that this higher art form isn't as focused on the plots but on the atmosphere instead. Blah blah blah. Yeah, no, I get it.
I found it incredibly average. Obviously technically well made, but I didn't find it very scary. Any movie like this should be trying to develop tension and atmosphere, and it just sort of substituted rainy Seattle for any other horror atmosphere, and it blew its load very early in the movie by just having this black hooded figure pop out of nowhere and start killing people. And it was really very average, besides for that one incredible scene where the Gabriel tumor monster is just slicing up an entire Seattle police precinct, just going absolutely Chris Dorner mode on these cops.
Okay.
It's a highlight. It's a highlight to be sure, man. Oh my God.
Hey, we're back.
Good. I'm glad.
I don't know what the technical issues are over here, but
it keeps bumping our earpiece off. So
it's Gabriel. He's interfering with the,
yes.
with the internet.
Yeah, he won't leave us alone.
He's coming in through your Bluetooth.
The Bluetooth explosive devices are happening from inside your house. The security guard with the pacemaker that just goes off like a bottle rocket. Oh,
that was a pretty amazing kill, I guess, or whatever you want to call it.
But can I ask y'all something real quick?
Sure, sure.
Is it just me, or did the main actor, the woman, her acting get progressively worse as the movie got along?
Yes. I think that's something I wanted to mention is that I think that the movie got more wild and crazy the further along we got into the film. Like, I think it started to progress because, like, to be honest, you can lop off the first 75 minutes of this movie. Like, it's all just set dressing and it's kind of pointless. And then what you're left with is an amazing 40-minute version of Black Mirror or The Twilight Zone that was influenced by David Cronenberg. And I think that kind of creates this weird tone setting that differentiates in between the three acts, where the first one is like a spiritual spirit, like a haunting almost. And so she's acting as if it were a haunting movie. Then the second act becomes this like CSI, but with ghosts, essentially.
Well, the head detective there was doing his best to be an X-Files like agent.
Yes, exactly. I want to believe and also fuck every woman in a 5-mile vicinity. Mad respect.
His like CSI lab tech just hitting on him constantly the whole movie. He's just not interested. He's just like, I'm trying to do my job here, and there's all of a sudden there's ghosts or whatever the hell this thing is. Like, just one thing at a time.
It hurts me deeply inside to be like, why would I be interested in her? I'm like, she's gorgeous. This is a bizarre movie world where I understand like everyone's a weird, like beautiful person in its own way.
Right.
But like, come on, man. Like, give her a shot at least.
I mean,
like,
gorgeous and funny. What more do you want? And she's smart, obviously.
Yeah, I'm sorry that she doesn't work at Chuck E. Cheese as a princess, because that seems to be your type. But goddamn, dude, like, come on, get a grip on something a little bit here. So I just really felt like the movie kind of got, when you divide it into that 3-act structure, it makes for a unique enough viewing experience. I'm going to remember a lot of it, specifically in that last act, but I don't think it makes up for the rest of the movie, because again, I have no desire to watch those first 75-85 minutes at all. Like, I'm only gonna go watch, as Griff was talking about, when Gabriel is going Chris Dorner inside the police station. Like, that's
that scene alone was like worth the wait, I guess, because it was just like, I mean, it was filmed like it was filmed as like a cool, like,
it's an action sequence, because you're like, wow, this is the guy who did Aquaman. Hell yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I guess he stole a couple of like the camera arms that they used in that film. And they're like, well,
it's almost like they forgot that Gabriel can only walk backwards, because he will be doing it for a little bit and then he'll walk forward again. And I'm like,
I actually have some fun facts about that. That was not CGI at all. They hired a Ukrainian contortionist to do all of that stunt work and do it backwards and do the flips and all of that.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean,
if you need a contortionist, I think Ukraine is the place to go.
I feel like the contortionist did a great job. All I'm saying is, whoever told the contortionist to do certain things was like ran out of ideas, because they were like, okay, well, or they forgot that Gabriel can only walk backwards. Gabriel is the backside. Because remember, like right at the end when like everything done, Gabriel walks backwards. So
forward for her, but backwards for him.
Out of the building. And I was like, so he's just doing a walking backwards exit.
That's right. Gabriel is accidentally moonwalking in blood through the police precinct, as they're vying for control of the body here. People who haven't seen this movie are just fucking losing their mind, probably wondering what exactly is this? Who is Gabriel? All of that. And to those people, I say, fuck you. Follow my advice. Watch that half hour. You'll be fine. Thank me later.
The Gigo cut.
Yes, thank you. We need to do the Gigo cut. That's what I think is necessary. We can have it be just that quick Twilight Zone frame reference. We won't have the same music rights, so we can use like Smash Mouth deep cuts and then just go through it. The entire really helps set the tone, I think, the entire way through. One last kind of set thing that I wanted to hit on was what did we think about the whole world that was being set up in this movie? Because this is a James Wan film. He did the Conjuring movies. He did the Insidious films. And so we have this new 1990s era psychiatric hospital that the sister visits in like the beginning of the third act, where she breaks in and she walks through the basement. That's just all the files of spinoffs about what all is going to be happening. Did y'all get that vibe at all?
Yeah, I guess you're right. I don't know. Obviously, this is the, do they live in Gotham? Because that's clearly
yes.
Like,
oh my god,
Seattle, but the
that's
Gotham
clearly
version of
Arkham Asylum or whatever, but Arkham Asylum. But
yeah, oh my god,
just yeah, you're right. Like it's just like, hey, if we want, we can do 40 of these.
Which we can, and we will, because I can make these for $5 million. Because I'd sell a struggling TV actor, hey, want to be in a James Wan produced, not directed, but produced horror movie? And they say yes, and that's how it works. Yeah, I could see it happening. At least, I mean, like HBO, like James Wan made them $1 billion with Aquaman. HBO is not going to let James Wan go to any other studio. They will greenlight any insane idea that man has. Did y'all find out or did y'all remember that story about? I think it was called The Reach or the Rift or something. It was an Aquaman spinoff. Did y'all remember that storyline? Okay. So Aquaman, we all kind of know he does Aquaman. It's a superhero movie. Yay. There's like one kind of horror element where like these sea monster creatures jump up on the boat and they're fighting, and everyone's like, oh my God, that was pretty intense. What he wanted to do instead of Aquaman 2 was a whole movie about those people. And Warner Brothers was like, you know what? Yes, fine. You do whatever you want. And then I think he got bored with it and he made this movie instead. And so I think that kind of highlights a little bit about the extent to which Warner Bros. And HBO Max specifically are going to hold on to him. With their bare claws, with their like weird reverse hands that they're doing, and they're gonna operate it. But
yeah, it's a huge moneymaker for them. I mean, I think the Conjuring universe is the second highest grossing horror franchise of all time when you add up all the individual movies, which is like shocking because I mean I know they're popular movies, but I like you can totally like extrapolate some scene where the sister's like digging through the files and then there's references to other cases and there's going to be some like insane nitpicking recap on like a film film criticism website where it's like what other possible things are going to be now set in the Malignant universe if this is a
God. Yeah.
Just teeing up another cinematic universe, and of course it's this one's doing that simultaneous HBO Max release and in theaters, so it's just printing green for them at this point.
Coming soon, Malignant 2, benign.
Yes. No, they're gonna save that for the 8th sequel. For the 9th one, it's gonna be benign. It's gonna be what it is.
There's just a lot of sitting around. They're like, I mean, we kind of know what's going on.
Yeah. Okay. So what's like another like weird tuber baby story that we can churn out? Fuck this. Okay. So the first one was the electricity. I don't know. This one has mud powers. Fuck it. Let's find a way.
This time it's Siamese twins,
and they're really good plumbers.
One has the power of flight, but the other one is like a rocker. It's like one can do fire and the other one does water, so they cancel each other out constantly. They don't know how to deal with it. I don't know.
I kind of would love that, honestly, like a weird like twins universe that could happen.
Yes.
Yeah. What if the X-Men were horror movies? I guess.
Well, and that's kind of how this movie starts off, right? You know, like I know Grift off mic, you had talked about how this felt a lot like a Chronicle film. And so like I got that same vibe too, because my God, like the hospital scene alone, it felt real cheesy as they're tranking a small child with a gun. You know,
you've been a bad boy. It's time to cut out the tube or cut out the cancer.
And this is how every doctor talks to a patient.
Oh yeah.
And then it goes into that credit sequence, like overlaid with images of like medical experiments and people like literally images that were used later in the movie.
Yeah.
Were, you know, it wasn't like some sort of like impressionistic pastiche of related genre elements. It was literally like scenes that were deployed later as part of the plot twist, but in the credit sequence.
Not only part of that, but it was literally a VHS tape that they put in. So it was like, okay, and now to explain what this movie is, we're going to put on a movie.
I'd rather that, though, than what she did at the end, where she just goes, I can do what he does. It's my body. Like that. I'm like, oh my God, just shoot me.
It's her body, her choice.
Yeah, come on, Michelle. Be woke about it, you know?
Sorry. I have much learning to do.
Yes.
Much growth to learn, yes.
Growth like the tumor, unfortunately, is the issue.
Gabriel is the Texas Republicans now or whatever.
How great, by the way, would that scene be? We're just going to jump ahead a little bit to where with our main character, she has yet another miscarriage because of this bizarre monster creature that if her sister was like, hey, so I'm a struggling actress, and you know, like the bounty is $10,000, right? I'm counting this as an abortion because you stayed with your abusive husband. Hate to break it to you, but you're going to jail, and that's what winds her up in jail. That's the sequence that sets it all off.
Yes.
What did y'all think about like our main character, being with an abusive husband that was obvious cannon fodder for the first 5 minutes?
I don't know. I felt almost nothing about it. Like, I was like, this guy's a piece of shit. He's the first to die. I get it. Like,
you weren't moved by his amazing portrayal? Come on. Such depth that he was able to plumb.
Moved by how abusive he was. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, are you ready for his spinoff where we find out that actually he had a weird possessed uncle who also was at that same psychiatric clinic, and that's how he met Madison in the first place? No? Well, congratulations. You're getting a whole TV show about that. Enjoy.
Yeah, like I mentioned this before you guys hopped on, but like this movie, I didn't find it very scary or disturbing, but the early episode of spousal abuse, like him just like ramming her head into the wall, that was more disturbing than any of the supernatural monster stuff. Like
that was visual. Yeah, like I had a reaction to that for sure. I always wonder how they do that when they're actually recording the shot. Because it looks like real, you know what I mean? Like she just like he throws her back, and you see her head just like hit the wall and bounce off. And I'm like, is that a rubber wall?
It is. It's a full blown rubber wall. Yeah. That's,
okay.
Yeah, they don't.
Makes me feel better now.
Well, I mean, like y'all remember in Marriage Story, the whole reason the clip went viral was because Adam Driver punched the wall weirdly. People were like, why was he doing that? Like, what's the deal there? And the answer is because that was like the last wall that they had made, and it was just like a paper backing with then rubber right behind it. And so the props department was like, this is the last take you have. Stop fucking up the shot. Like we don't have any more of these after this. Like you have to get everything in sync. And so then that's why he kind of like pulled at the last second, and his hand still kind of went through in a very aggressive knocking fashion instead of anything else, you know.
Now I need to look that up.
Yeah, I remember the reason it initially went viral. I think was some film Twitter person was using this scene as an example of like, oh, this is acting. These are professional actors at the top of their game, and it's just like these two A-listers just having this very ham-fisted.
It's okay. You can say Disney intended. Actors. You know, Scarlett Johansson from Black Widow, Adam Driver from Star Wars.
Yeah, just like having this very like overwrought and overacted scene that was just objectively not good.
No, it was not good. I did not enjoy it, and the movie itself was actually much better than we all thought. But no one cares about that because that's not how internet discourse properly functions. So, but it's okay. So, abusive husband knocks our main character against a wall. She decides to lock herself up in a room, and then she falls asleep, which I think is exactly what you're supposed to do when you have a bloody head concussion, right? You just kind of curl up into a ball and fall into the loving, warm embrace of the void, right? That's always a good thing. While asleep, though, she has a vivid dream about a killer breaking into her house and then killing her abusive husband. And then when she wakes up, oh, God, it wasn't a dream. It was real. And then the killer tracks her up the stairs in a shot that I actually really kind of found cool. I was trying to figure out how they got that all in one shot of running around the house, going from the ceiling on down and following her with no cuts. That was
there was some really cool shots, like interesting shots in this for sure. Like that one, I liked that, you know, kind of, I don't know, it looks like you're looking at a clue board, you know, or whatever. Like you can see in and out of all the rooms. Like it was interesting for sure, visually interesting at least. Yeah.
It was Gabriel in the kitchen with the medical award.
Gabriel, you know, it really is great about how it all boils down into awards here. You know, I think if I were to ever get an award, I would want something that looks like a dagger, basically. Yeah. But, you know,
do they give out surgery trophies, by the way? Is that a thing that happens?
I think the surgeon made the trophy themselves and was like, I'm giving this to me.
Yeah.
It's like a world's best boss mug, but, you know, for surgeons kind of is the deal.
I thought it could have had more metaphorical power if it had been like a white woman killing people with like a participation trophy.
Ooh, yeah. I think that could work. That would be something. If it was just like a very like ornate knit scarf that was wrapped around the handle, you know.
Yeah, strangling people with like a prize ribbon.
Oh my God! Beautiful. People would be writing dissertations on that. Y'all okay?
Yep, back on. Jesus,
all right.
Fucking crazy.
Gabriel.
Gabriel is with us right now.
God. I need to sage my house.
What I kind of want to, that's right, because y'all recording in a weird, like, haunted location that is y'all's property. I keep forgetting with the creepy neighbors. Okay, we won't talk about that. I think what I'm going to do for this recording is that I actually have like because as like what I usually use as a backup. It's recording everyone's audio, but I kind of like the stops and starts a little bit with how it works with Gabriel. So I kind of want to.
I feel like every time we come back, it's Gabriel.
Exactly.
You can put in like a little like electrical interference sound effect.
Oh yeah,
at opportune moments.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna do that in post. Oh man, what a great idea to get our audience's hopes up for, Grift.
We're just gonna unload even more work onto your plate here.
Yeah, I can't wait to go do that. Oh boy. Oh golly.
So we had a funny little moment about, you know, right at the end of the movie when like the two sisters are like hugging it out or whatever and having a good old time. It slowly pans over and you see the light and you know it's like about to like flicker or whatever, right? Yeah. And as it's about to do it, our HBO Max app was just like something went wrong. And
we don't know. We can't fix it. We're so sorry.
And it shut down the movie. So we were laughing our asses off because it's like I for a moment was like, did they do that on purpose? Because it was just such perfect timing. I was like, maybe
I think Malignant is like our like society's version of Ring. It's in my house.
Oh no! Please don't bring Malignant into this home.
Now I have to make 9 other people watch Malignant. so
Honestly,
I can save myself.
If you had posted about that on Twitter, the HBO Max customer service response team, they're very diligent in responding to every single shit post about how bad their streaming platform is. Like I made one like breaking the Taliban have fixed HBO Max's streaming interface, and like the official HBO Max account like responded being like, oh, are you what issue are you having? Like, how can we fix this? And it's like, no, like hire some fucking better developers, like to make a website that doesn't crash like 5 times during an hour and a half movie.
That's the situation we all run into, though. You know, I think that that's something that makes HBO Max a little relatable, because who amongst us doesn't kind of have a small breakdown at least 5 times every hour, especially if we have to go back and do something we've already done before, you know?
Yeah, just go on Twitter and be like, HBO Max, Gabriel is in my system and shutting down your app. Can I have some help with this? And like they would probably retweet that as promotional content for the movie. You know,
they'd be like, see, proof. One person at least has watched this movie that isn't just a full blown critic.
Also,
oh God,
like, this is the reason why we're so shitty, guys. It's Gabriel.
Yeah,
blame it on something else.
Fully building it into the whole James Wan universe, unfortunately, is what it is. So yeah, so basically the cops, they investigate and they're like, oh well, she wasn't in an abusive relationship, and so I guess maybe she did do it, but we don't know. Anyways, all right, you crazy kid, go on home. And then like an hour later, Gabriel kidnaps a woman who's running the Seattle Underground tour. And it's like, what a coincidence. Oh boy, real crazy that this 5'8" looking woman in a Matrix trench coat keeps abducting people. Oh boy. Oh no. It's also, you know, I love when these crazy killers that are, you know, just demonic forces beyond our control also evade like CCTVs and basic security measures, because it'd be like, oh, that's her. That's Madison. That's walking backwards and going in. Right there, in fact. We caught him. 15 minutes is all it took. So
that's part of the benefits of being able to control electronic devices is you can shut those cameras off.
Oh, I see. It's outsmarting me at every turn. There's no such thing as cloud-based electronics in today's age.
No. We're actively filling in the movie's plot holes with our justification.
Just like Seattle filled in the old Seattle, right? Yeah. I don't know. It's really cool to think.
Movie one story up from this one.
Yeah. I was almost hoping. I was like, hold on, is Gabriel going to be a mole man? Is that the plot twist? Like, is that what's happening here? I don't know. Us in my head really raised the bar by having like everyone have a secret doppelganger sponsored by the government that lives in like an abandoned mall or in the underground tunnel. You know, like, it's a stupid idea, but it kind of works. I kind of would have liked the idea of there being like a whole like mole man race that hangs out in the abandoned aspects of the Seattle Underground tunnel.
That could be fun.
You know, I just think in between that and like the weird like Arkham Asylum that they have for the hospital, that you got some pretty cool set pieces to play with. And the fact that they didn't do anything with it other than, oh no, it gets real dark. You gotta get real scared,
but I feel
everyone.
like now then you would be giving the conspiracy theorists like a win. They're like, see? It is possible. There are no people underground.
Yeah, I will let them have that one.
And then
you caught me.
And then you could make like a point about gentrification. Like, this is what happens when you replace the original downtown with a bunch of hipster coffee shops.
Yeah. It's where they're all talking.
Will rise again.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, man. I mean, I just think that the film overall, especially when like Gabriel, you see, is starting to like murder all the various doctors and things, that the vibe I got for this was, again, just a very like procedural kind of show where like we have now become like a monster of the week, and it was almost shot in like a flat TV way in a lot of spots, to where I felt like this was meant for TV. It didn't feel as deep as like even the original Conjuring movie did in terms of just layers. It felt very much like a set, like, as y'all mentioned, like that Gotham TV show is what a lot of this kind of felt like to me, at least.
Yeah, they had a lot of like tracking shots of the city from above with the rain, and it's like it didn't really have much to do with the movie. Just like, yeah, we get it. It's set in Seattle. It's rainy a lot there. Here's your atmosphere. Like,
I would love it if like just one of the cops was like a diehard Seahawks fan. Like, you know, just like full get up. That's what his desk was adorned with, you know, like a little Russell Wilson bobblehead. Just something that didn't really fit the whole vibe of the movie they were going with. Because, I mean, like, it felt like the police precinct was from like the 80s or from that Seven movie.
Yeah, that sort of like old style of architecture in the building, the sort of like open layout on the floor. It felt like it was very like Gotham, like it was like a police precinct from like Gotham City or something.
Yeah.
It really, like, there was more Gotham vibes than anything in this. Like, there's nothing about other than every now and then we're going to show you the Space Needle. Like, other than that, like, it could have been anywhere.
Like they borrowed.
Oh no, Gabriel!
Oh, Gabriel, no!
Yeah.
Oh no, we're gonna need you to restate that. Gabriel invaded and cut y'all off mid-riff. Oh no, they can't hear us. Oh no,
they've been taken out.
They have. Please.
Someone's fallen out. Someone's fallen out of the ceiling.
Like, hold on, I have to stop recording here. A woman fell 3 stories and has landed in my recording area.
Fuck.
Oh God, it's putting up quite a struggle. So after a brief possession from Gabriel, once again attacking us for trying to speak our truth and get the message out about what Malignant is, we find ourselves kind of moving forward in the plot to what I like to call the James Wan tropes. And by that, I mean, what is a James Wan movie without a creepy medium lady deciding to work with the police to help a protagonist discover some like secret traumatized path? And I feel like this is very befitting for a 9/11 episode because much like these victims, we're also supposed to never forget, right? That's what it's all about.
Yeah, the inclusion of that medium scene, it was sort of out of nowhere, and it's just like, okay, now we're doing Diet The Conjuring. And
yeah, that's exactly what it was.
It was never really followed up on, or just like, oh yeah, it's a James Wan movie. We have to have at least one exorcism scene.
You're forgetting we're setting up different characters though to exist in the cinematic universe, and so when this medium is not then going in an eventual sequel to work with a bunch of plucky kids that are trying to solve some random mystery, then we're gonna say, thank God, it's the lady from Malignant, the medium, the one whose name we all recognize. Yeah. Oh, thank goodness. It was her. Yeah, so she finds out like, Gabriel has been a part of her the entire time. It's not just an imaginary friend, but it's something more. It's something that came from when she was at this hospital. And, you know, like talking about the actual plot twist about like how Gabriel was like a parasitic twin that lived on her back. I have to emphasize, there's no way the government would let this freak show start to wander the streets. Like this poor girl, my heart goes out to her, but like we have Guantanamo Bay and this child will get locked up there and get experimented on far, far away from the like any electrical pulse and signal. They would just, start attacking her analog style. So.
Oh yeah, they Magneto her.
Yeah, that's where's that? I guess the Chronicle origin story, right, Grift? About
they would take her straight to Area 51, and
oh God, I can't imagine.
Well, there's no way the government wouldn't try and weaponize the electrical powers. Whatever.
All right. We now know the true purpose of the Amish is where they put those fucking freaks that are able to then control electricity. That's where their black site torture devices are. It's all over rural Ohio, basically.
The Amish deep state conspiracy. You heard it here first.
Yes. Oh God. I actually really like that. Like an Amish person, but with like it's an earpiece, but it's one of those like giant horns that sticks out because they can't. Yeah. I could get behind that in a heartbeat. So they all kind of are coming to the conclusion that actually Gabriel is a jealous parasitic twin, and that's why our main characters also had like all these miscarriages, was because Gabriel didn't want to lose Madison, that Gabriel wanted to control Madison, and was actually using the fetuses and to feed off of them and to gain power, like
See, that doesn't make any sense though, because
then he gets the power of two fetuses, one of the most powerful things in the universe. We all know that sure, it's hard to take down a fetus, notoriously hard, but to take down two
stem
fetuses
cells are a pretty miracle drug. So
yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
did you see that picture some conservative anti-abortion activist posted where it's like, this is a fetus at 6 weeks old. Like, would you kill this? And it literally looks like a fucking Cthulhu monster.
Yeah.
It literally looked like Gabriel.
I would love that. Like, this is a fetus at however many thousand weeks old. That's what this is. That's what Gabriel is. Madison, of course, gets locked up because after the medium scene happens, a woman who was kidnapped earlier from the Seattle Underground falls through the fucking ceiling and then through the first level of floor and then just falls and lands completely on her ass. And they're like, well, now we have to take you to jail because there was a kidnapping victim right there. Man,
absolutely ridiculous scene.
God bless this stunt woman. Funniest scene in the movie.
How do you put her in jail without a woman falling down her ceiling?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird, like HOA rules, I guess. Like, no, you can't have a weird, creepy murder addict of any kind. You at least have to apply for a permit, for a creepy murder addict permit before that's allowed to happen. And then, of course, later we're told, like, hey, that's actually Serena May, Madison's birth mother. You're like, whoa. And then, like, over the next 15 minutes, it is told to us 5 times that is
it's 100%
her
true.
birth mother. You're like, oh, great. I wonder who she is. Okay. I just remembered now. Sorry. I also have a concussion, so I appreciate this kind of thing.
I saw a lot of the positive reviews for this thing online praising the insane twist that you're going to have to see to believe. And it's like, no, it was like telegraphed from the beginning. Like, oh, the dark-haired white woman is the daughter of another dark-haired white woman. Oh my God.
Holy shit. And they're in Seattle.
Yeah. Like there was no other potential like option for who Gabriel could actually be.
Well, and this movie's twist isn't really that much different than like a schizophrenic like horror movie, right? Like the real villain was a personality that has been laying dormant for several decades, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, there are dozens of those that have come out over the past like 5 years.
Go watch Shutter Island.
Yes, please, please do. Except, this has more of like a return to crab theme, I think, than Shutter Island does. I would like that, where like what did they do with Gabriel's torn off parts? Like, do you think that they did they burn them? Is it worse if they burn them, or do you think like they buried them and he's like in like a weirdly obscure and bizarre little like dead baby tuxedo that they have? But it doesn't really fit, so it's kind of just like laid awkwardly on top of him.
No, that's what they took to the deep state facility. They the parts that they cut off, they're going to go experiment on those, build the secret weapons technology from that, and then they released Madison into the world.
Technology.
They released her into the world as a sleeper cell agent to be activated.
What an amazing sleeper cell agent, by the way. Sure, the doctor, psychiatrist, whatever you want to call it, that reconstructive hospital might be evil, but goddamn, they actually do deserve that trophy because she doesn't have a single scar on her body. She doesn't have a line anywhere. They do fantastic work.
You gotta give them that. Yeah.
But also they shoved half a brain back into her brain.
Which,
no consequences.
It's also incredibly strange that an abuse victim that would have been pushed around several times wouldn't have experienced any x-rays at all at any point in her life whatsoever. Because I would think one quick x-ray and they're like, oh, fuck, you have a set of jaws in the back of your head that have been pushed into your skull. So, which, it's real nice that they're like, well, we have to leave that at least. We're not monsters. We got to give the guy a fighting chance. Him and his weird brain tongue that he uses to speak and yell. Oh, God. I don't know. This movie is ridiculous. So I don't want to make it seem like I'm hating on it just to hate on it. But I enjoyed the ridiculous nature of it because, man, the third act, it does get pretty fucking stupid. And I say stupid. It gets also pretty cool. I think, right, Grift? The 9-minute sequence, I think that we all know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
The jail cell that leads into the police shootout. It's not even a shootout, really. It's a stab out is kind of what it boils into here. But man, I loved how this movie played out because I was just whispering what the fuck, at least every 45 seconds about what was happening.
Yeah, the scene in the woman's jail holding cell where Gabriel breaks out of her head, and so there's she's getting beaten up by a bunch of the fellow inmates. There's some racial solidarity going on because you got the black woman who's dressed in what looks like some sort of 70s
Foxy
disco
Brown.
dress.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
hello, my fellow inmates.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then just joining forces with the woman with white trash aesthetics to just kick the shit out of her for being a Seattle yuppie. Basically,
yes. Respect, honestly. You have to fight gentrifiers wherever you find them, on and off the court, so to speak.
It's a working class struggle at play there.
Yes. Well, I mean, it is just great because it's just, the 5 different stereotypes you find in jail. You have the redneck lady, the black lady, the one who's peeing randomly in a corner for no apparent reason.
And the meth lady. Don't forget the meth lady.
Oh, yeah. I'm so sorry. I can't forget the meth lady. The random cholo that becomes cannon fodder as she is hurled into the monster's lair. Oh, no. I mean, it just...
it is hysterical that they're all screaming gore. It's also the most violent holding cell ever. I guess.
Well, you see, it's actually James Wan doing commentary on institutional problems that exist, but how even in a heavily monitored society such as this, when violence occurs in the system, a blind eye is simply turned, and so you can't even rely on it on its most base level to protect you if you are already stuck inside the punishment chamber.
Yeah, that was the worst drunk tank ever.
Yeah, that, and also, hey, I have a whole bunch of neon lights we can use in this jail cell. Let's fucking go. Let's film this shit. I also have 9 or, 11 forearm special effect explodey things I could hide in squibs. Let's make that work too.
And also, her face is clearly silicone. It's you know what I mean? It's just it just looks like a rubber mask.
It's a sex doll mask is what it is, Michelle.
Yes, that's what it is. Yes, thank you.
Which, I think they were probably like, James, why do you already have this? And he's like, don't worry about it. It's for a movie I'm doing where the villain is living on the back of her face, actually, and that's why I have this mask of this actress.
That's
I
actually
don't wear
how
it.
they cast the actress. It was like they were like, "Look, we got to find somebody that matches this doll."
Yeah, I am in deep. I am way over my head right now. So if I can be perfectly honest with you, chilled is what I am. Chilled to the bone. But so I was amazed because, again, it's not CGI, but rather this random Ukrainian contortionist. So, like, let's all give a big shout out to the fall of the USSR for leading to this person having this employment field, I suppose. Yay.
Yay.
Shout out. And then let's see, we've already talked about how she escapes, and then the sister runs and is trying to rendezvous at the hospital with the cop as well. And then they run into the loneliest security guard in the world, who's just clocking in 9 to 5, basically a glorified front desk attendant with the exploding pacemaker. R.I.P. to a real one there. And then we get the showdown in the hospital room, which was, I thought kind of stupid because, as Michelle, you mentioned, the culmination is actually I locked you in a mental prison. So, haha, what do you think about that, Gabriel? And his answer was, fuck you, I'll break out. And she's like, yes, but then I'll be ready. And I thought, oh, but that doesn't solve any of the problems. Like, you're still going to jail because you killed like 40 cops. Like,
how the turntables have turned.
Yes. Like, I don't think you understand the stakes that are happening, Madison. Like, it's great that you're like, I don't need a blood connection to find happiness and fulfillment. But like, those people had families. Like, you're going to jail for like 40 lifetimes. I don't think it's going to matter if he gets let out or not.
I guess there was nobody left to arrest her. Maybe
That's
There's
true.
the one cop who got stabbed in the shoulder, and he's like, I mean, I guess he could be like, fine, I'll let you go. I'll give you a 1-day head start.
I'm going to let you off with a warning.
Exactly. It can spin off like a Fast and Furious movie, like what Paul Walker did with Vin Diesel. And he's like, all right, we're going to join up in the next movie and awkwardly work together. One last job, one last possession is going to be the situation.
I mean, that does track because basically the movie wraps up very way too neatly for all of the carnage that just played out, and it's just like, what if the real what if the real meaning all along was family?
That is a real Fast and Furious vibe to it. I think, yeah, man. I think instead she's getting locked away. She's going to that Amish black site, I think, is gonna be what ends up happening here. I'm like 85% sure of it. But that is the movie. So, wow, what a film. What a time. People found this to be either painfully average or bloody brilliant. Grift is as the true centrist. I know you're going to argue that both sides are right when making this claim, but Michelle, Tom, what did y'all think about this? Is this garbage or is it not?
It's like finding a treasure in a dump. Like there's like a couple of good things, but
Gabriel, he's back.
Gabriel, again, you vexed me. You fucking crab person. I will kill you. Thank you to Joe's Crab Shack. Have that be the end of it. Fuck.
We thought he was out, but we pulled him back into the skull.
That's right. Oh, God. Just slurped it back on up. Wonder about that. Christ.
Yeah, the return to crab. That's good.
I just...
Gabriel's not letting us share our thoughts.
No. Well, see... You were going to argue about how bad this movie was, and then Gabriel stopped you. So, do you have any new thoughts or
really
new perspective on this? Yeah.
No, you take it away, Michelle.
So I was actually going to talk shit about Gabriel. Like it was
specifically.
I thought it was interesting how they were like, you know what? We're going to try to make sure that we fool everybody because it clearly looks like it's this woman.
Right.
Definitely. Definitely.
So we're just going to make up this special telekinesis type thing that this parasitic twin can do.
Yeah.
Where it controls.
It's called being a superhero, Michelle.
Right.
Have some imagination.
Sorry,
Come on.
So yeah, that was interesting. Man, I don't even know. Like like this movie, I feel like the general storyline, if somebody pitched it to me, I'm like, that's actually kind of out of the box thinking. Good on you, mate. But then like the way they actually put it to script is what is upsetting to me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that becomes the fucking problem, isn't it?
Yeah, and it just gets worse. Like I feel like the first, like I know you were like, oh, the first half, like you don't even have to watch it, but I was like, I think the acting was still better for the first half.
Well, I suppose if you want to view it intrinsically as a movie with its merits and with its emotional payoff, instead of the inevitable 35-minute YouTube clip where I do like kill count compilations of Malignant, and then I have like the bizarre like combo theme music from Mortal Kombat occur in that police shootout scene. I suppose, yes, that would be the right way to look at it and assess it.
Yeah, I want to see that precinct slash 'em up scene set to different like incongruous music choices. I think that would be some really good content.
Oh my God. See, we could do for the 13th movie, it could be Malignant Assault on Precinct 13. You know, we could just keep on working different numbers in for arbitrary reasons. But I absolutely thought this movie was garbage. Doesn't mean that a 9-minute sequence cannot salvage it in my head, but everyone should watch that 9-minute sequence at the very least, because fun little practical effect of watching little fucking screaming rabbit mouth emerge from the back of someone's head, and then everyone's screaming in terror. It's enjoyable, you know?
That absolutely was the best acting from the other prisoners and the cops. They're just like, what the fuck? Like actually screaming at the top of their lungs, just having a very human reaction to things. Because the reactions of most people in this movie was very sort of like wooden and dulled compared to if you were to actually encounter this sort of thing in your life. I'm going to go against my centrist credentials and come down on the side that this is garbage. I'm sorry. One really good sequence does not make up for an entire film of mediocrity. So it's going in the trash can.
Yep, that's exactly right. It's the way it's got to go.
It's finding a perfectly good radio at the dump. Like you, just because that it doesn't mean you're not in the dump. Like,
it's the way it goes.
4 garbages. 4 garbage. So I don't know why nobody like talked about this yet, but like the whole like reverse birth at the end of the, you know, the whole sequence where like Gabriel recedes back into her mind.
Yeah.
And it just goes from like, I don't know, as a birth worker, it was really disturbing. And it was like slightly pornographic looking. Like it was so gross.
How her head just got sealed up, because that's how that works, right? You know?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, she also has Wolverine powers, I guess.
Hey, see, she's an X-Men of her own, maybe.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what we're getting to. She has healing powers, and that's how that could work.
It was always her body, remember?
Oh, that's right. Oh, God.
But also, she learns to take control real fast. Like, just in the matter of a minute, she's like, I got this. I'm putting you into the recess of my mind. I'm like, so we had to do this this whole thing for what? Like,
oh, so you could have done that at any time, but you just didn't have the courage to do it? Wow.
Wow. Yeah, they're like, that's why she doesn't know till the bitter end.
Yeah.
And yet she screams his name when she hears him call her.
Yeah. Well, you know.
They're going to make a fucking sequel to this thing where it's just Gabriel breaking free again. And it's literally the exact same plot. And they're going to try to do the same. They're going to try to do the same twist and act like it's a big deal.
I mean, James Wan probably has other sex masks. So I think that's inevitable. But boy, this is certainly an episode that I think it's probably time to wrap it up now. Before I start thinking about what weird pornography James Wan is starting to invest in and what sexual role playing he's into here. So Michelle, Tom, thank you so much for joining us. Please tell everyone where we can find y'all and what all you got going on.
Well, first, don't forget to include Gabriel.
Oh, of course, yes. That's our hidden third guest, of course.
Yeah. Exactly. Everybody can find us on basically all podcast platforms under Apocalypse and Review.
Yep.
And we are on social media as @ApocPod, APOCPOD. So yeah, go check us out.
Hell yeah, that sounds good. And Grift, what's going on in the shop? What happened? It's 9/11, or it was at least.
Happy holidays, everyone. I dropped a little collaboration with the Taliban and the House of Saud. I got four shirts and a hat up there, so go check that out. In the spirit of just murking police officers, we got the first screen printed shirt on the shop coming soon. We're bringing back the Respect Troops Dorner that got censored him. He cannot be cornered. So
hell yeah.
Be on the lookout for Operation Respect Troops.
That's what it's all about, man. It's living the dream is what it is. Boy, oh boy. For the actual podcast itself, follow us on Letter. I was going to say Letter and Twitter Boxed, but it's the other way around. Follow us on Twitter and Letterboxd at Gigo Podcast. That's GIGO Podcast. Also, leave us a 5-star review on iTunes because that always helps. Or follow us on Spotify because that's where you can make the real difference. I looked it up in the dictionary. That does count as praxis in the same way that letting your evil twin kill a whole room full of police officers also counts as praxis. So respect all the way through and through. Without further ado, though, let's go ahead and say goodbye, y'all.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Deuces.